All right, we're gonna try this Saturday scope again. Hey, Tiffy. All right, so can you hear me? Let me know if you can or not. I'm outside and there's a lot of noise, but it wasn't working earlier when I was trying to do Saturday scope, so I'm back. We're gonna try it again. This is the first scope in our family circus series. Hey, Kev. So this month we're talking all things family. Our first scope in this series is the big tent. We're talking about families of origin, things that you encounter within your family of origin. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was favoritism and sibling rivalry. I talked a little bit earlier when I was trying to scope about how sibling rivalry fosters so many different things within families, how it plants seeds of discord and competition and envy that can spring up later. And I was using the example of Joseph and his brothers and all of the things that Joseph endured at the hands of his brothers because he was his father's favorite. We see this a lot in families in general where there's more than one child, and I was encouraging parents to spend individual time with their children. You know, just because you have a gang of kids, they still need that one-on-one individual attention. You know, make time to do date nights, daddy-daughter days, mommy-son days, whatever, with your kids individually, as well as doing things with them as a group, so that they have good relationships and so that you're not building that sense of favoritism and creating competition between them. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is the change in the structure of families. Back in the day, a family was two parents and a child. Now, you may have a single parent, you may have a grandparent raising a child, you may have parents in separate homes who are co-parenting. The definition of family is drastically different than it used to be. So, as far as co-parenting, I wanted to touch on that because it's an area where a lot of people are really failing. Just call it what it is, flat out. People are failing at co-parenting. Regardless of what your relationship is with your child's parent, for the sake of that child, learn how to be agreeable, learn how to be cordial, learn how to communicate, so that you can give your child what's best. If that means you work out an agreement where somebody else picks up and drops off the child, then so be it. But you always want to show a unified front in front of your children and show them that even though things may not work out in a relationship, you can still have two healthy parents that are pouring into a child from a place of love. That requires great communication, that requires maturity, that requires work. Sometimes it may require therapy or a mediator. It just kind of depends on the individuals and the circumstances that led to the relationship not working out. But if you're in a situation where you're co-parenting, it's always important to remember to keep the child's needs at the forefront. Whatever happened between you and the other parent, the child doesn't need to be in the middle of that. Don't put your child in the middle of a tug of war, pulling back and forth, because it's going to do damage to them. They're going to feel like they're forced to choose between which parent they want to live with, which parents they want to spend time with. And they suffer because they feel like, well, if I spend time with mommy, daddy's going to be upset. Or if I say I want to go with daddy, mommy's going to be mad. Children are a lot more sensitive than we give them credit for. They pick up on things a lot more than we realize. So just be aware when you're co-parenting, if you're a single parent, whatever. Shout out to all the mothers. Happy Mother's Day. It takes a special kind of patience and love to be a mother. So I give props where props are due. Happy Mother's Day to all of you. Happy Mother's Day to the godmothers, the spiritual mothers, not just natural, because some people mother children who don't have any biological. So props to you as well. It takes a village, and you got to do the natural and the spiritual side. So to all the spiritual mothers out there who are birthing children who are birthing ministers and pastors and evangelists and all of those things. Happy Mother's Day to you as well. The other thing I want to touch on with families of origin is broken relationships. A lot of times there are things that happen along family lines that cause strife, that cause division in families. Take the time to fix it, especially in African American communities. We spend a lot of time with secrets and things that go covered up and don't get exposed, don't get dealt with, and they come back and cause damage later on down the line. So if you have family issues, take the time to sit down, to communicate, to go to a therapist, to get a counselor, a mediator, even to just have a discussion about things that you may have issues with, questions about. It's really important because there is such thing as generational curses. Things that aren't dealt with in one generation tend to get passed down to the next, and so on and so on and so on. As long as they go unchallenged, they're going to keep getting passed down. Same thing goes with blessings, though. So there may be things that run in your family that are generational. If you've ever seen a family where everybody can sing, everybody can play instruments, everybody has this particular gift, those things are generational as well. So it's not just negative. Take time to build those things, foster those things, and cultivate them and pass on great traditions and generational gifts in your family. So those are just a few of the things in dealing with families of origin. I don't want to go too deep, but just wanted to drop a few things with you today. I'm out with my mom and my aunt celebrating Mother's Day, so I hope you're taking time to spend some time with your mom if she's still here. If not, celebrate another mom. All moms deserve to be celebrated because the work they do is hard. So enjoy your weekend. Come back next week for part 2, families of choice. And that's the clown car. So I'll see you next week for Saturday Scopes. Enjoy your weekend.